It's another week. It's a Thursday. It's Citiuation Room on Citi TV, broadcasting from number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano in Accra. It is a show that does the analysis of the running political stories and election-related stories for you here on Citi TV. And indeed, it's a show that you should follow throughout the election year 2024 and beyond, as we bring you everything you need to know. My name is Umar Usanda Amadu, and I'm doing this, as always, with my sidekick, Sami Yafi. Sami, how are you?
I'm good, you?
How is the week looking?
Very good, packed already.
But it's ending already. Can you imagine? The week is already ending.
It's already Thursday. Monday was just recently.
And the year is ending.
Yeah.
We are in April.
We are in April. Probably by next week, we should be entering end of the month.
And then
May, and then June, July, campaign season starts.
Then December
7th.
Then people will see their smoothness level. Then we move on. Then if there's no runoff, we'll go and chop Bologna.
Hopefully, we are hoping for a journalist. Is our hope that there's no runoff.
Yeah,
so it should be a one-off thing. You know, we are done. We know who our next president is, because when it's always a runoff, that's when the work really starts. It's the tedious nature of it. I've covered the election series, you know, a number of times, so I know how the runoff is.
And I keep insisting, Electoral Commission, please declare the thing by 9th December. Why? 10th is too much. Okay, we beg you. We beg you. So those are the things that are just the opening lines that we're using. But when we come back, I'll tell you what the key issues we're looking at on Citiuation Room today are. You're welcome back. So this is the Citiuation Room where, like I said to you, we do the analysis for you on the big stories of the week. And the big story from the weekend is the NPP parliamentary primaries in Ejisu, following the death of the Honorable Dr. Sami, help me.
John Kuma.
John Kuma of Ejisu. There's been a need for a by-election in that constituency. The Electoral Commission has set a date for the by-election. The NPP needs to field a new candidate, and 9 persons were on the ballot. And when it came down to it, there was a showdown against our own Nyantechi, Chairman General Charlie 35.
Yeah.
Number 35.
The expectation was that, well, he brought a lot of, you know, excitement to this whole election, because he's obviously, we know who Nyantechi is, you know, a very popular figure within the Ghanaian football circle. Now, moving from football to politics was a new thing. A lot of people, you know, were talking about it. That how can a former chief football administrator all of a sudden want to switch to do mainline politics? That was the talking point for others. So a lot of people thought maybe he could do more things, because even before the election, he was talking about what he's been doing in the constituency, the help he's giving people, the football events he's been organizing and the likes. And so he's, well, you know, more or less popular within the area. And so he was very, very sure of winning. But on election day, he was rushed to the hospital. According to his aides, he hadn't eaten for like 2 days, because he was meeting delegates in and out. So that had a toll on his health.
Some people will say it's Azan for, you know.
Well, that conversation also came up, and people said that it was a means of more or less like a sympathy vote, so that people will vote for him. He discharged himself from the hospital, went to the voting ground to still go and talk to delegates, because he felt that he's not done campaigning. But when the result came, only 35 delegates out of 1,000 and something thought that he could be the best person to replace John Kuma.
You know what I saw in that election? I think the party was setting on who they wanted to represent them.
Yes.
So the fact that the field had 9 people earlier, there was supposed to be 12. It didn't matter. The delegates were setting. They knew, because they knew somebody 6 votes. Yeah.
So in such localized politics, the people know who they identify with. The gentleman who won, he's currently the 2nd vice chair of the constituency. So if the chairman is not the 2nd vice, he takes control of it. And he's been with the party since 2014. He was part of the preparation stage for the Arbonne, forgive me. He was a very close ally to John Kuma. He was a true local boy when it comes to NPP foot soldier per se in the constituency. He served on a number of committees within the constituency. Talk of a communications committee, legal committee. He's a lawyer. He's a lawyer as well. So they know him true as a party person who lives in Ejisu, has his office in Ejisu, his parents, everybody lives in Ejisu. And normally in those local areas, everybody knows everybody. So if you're a stranger and you come in there, they know who a stranger is. And so he was a true blood person when it comes to the politics of NPP in Ejisu. No surprising that he got that huge margin and huge vote for him to represent the party at the election, because they saw him as one of them and they regarded him as the best replacement because of his closeness to John Kuma. So he was more or less seen as someone who worked closely with John Kuma, and if John Kuma is leaving or has left, we needed someone more or less like him to come and replace him and do the job for them. And so when he won, I wasn't surprised at all, because he's a grounds person. He's a door-to-door person who any day, anytime will be identified with the people on the ground.
There was a lady who was tipped to also win, the wife of Abronye.
I think she had 0 votes or so.
I think she got 6.
Yeah, a lot of people saw her as a stranger. And for her, before the election, in the series of media interviews she granted, she said that she was going to ride on the back of her husband, because she was naive when it comes to politics. She has no idea about politics, and so she was going to use the successes of her husband.
But it's Abronye from Ashanti region. I thought he's from BA.
He's from BA, but then he got some family members from the Ejisu area.
Okay.
So his wife is also from Ejisu, and so because of his popularity, and when he mentioned Abronye, everybody knows Abronye, so he was going to rely on his success and his popularity to more or less win her way through the delegates. But the delegates had their mind already decided who they were going to vote for, and so it didn't really work. If we were to be in the BA area, you could say that it was going to work, but then in the Ashanti region, they know who they will go for, they know their person, and really it's not going to really do anything much when it comes to the politics in that area. So it was clearly who the party had decided who they were going to vote for, and the gentleman who I think Kwabena Boateng also was the person they decided, because he is a true blood person when it comes to politics.
So Sami, 9 people went into the election. 1 person emerged victorious. None of those people has complained or said they are leaving. Instead, a former MP for the area is rather the one who's going to cause problems for the party there.
I've heard the party say that he won't really cause any upset for them, not at all, because he was a former MP. He was more or less defeated in the last primaries. In the last primaries of the NPP, when John Kuma.
So this Eduomi.
He was a former deputy roads minister. So he and Anthony Kabu were in that particular meeting. Amakwata was their boss. In the primaries before the 2020 election, he lost to John Kuma. He had accused the party of, scheming the whole album in favor of John Kuma, because they wanted John Kuma to come and win that particular primary. And so he was unhappy. He felt the party didn't treat him well. The party wasn't fair to him. And so the decision was that he was going to contest independent. But before he came, if you remember, the former Foreign Affairs Minister, Akwesi Osei Eje, was then a member of Parliament for Ejisu.
Okay.
He came to remove, for want of a better word, the former Foreign Affairs Minister in that same primaries. Now, that was when the party was even in opposition. The same album he accused the party of using to favor John Kuma was more or less 60% of the names in there were the same people who were used in this primaries. Now that album that has favored you to become a 3-term member of parliament, you now turn back and then accuse the same album of not favoring you. And I've always said that in drawing up albums for these elections, the MP has a major say in it, because you do not want to bring your opponents into that album. You do not want to bring strangers into that album. So you help set up the whole album. And now if you bring your own people in there and your own people feel that you've not treated them well, you'll not be loyal to them, and they decide that they will kick you out and bring another person, you don't accuse the party leadership or accuse the delegates that, the album in there wasn't fake. You helped prepare that album. The people just didn't like you. They wanted a new face, and they voted against you.
But if you lost to John Kuma, you said you were not favored. John Kuma is not on the surface of this earth anymore. You should contest.
He should have contested in the same primaries, but he couldn't contest because the album that will be used for this same election is the same album he has run down.
Yeah, but
so why do you want to go back to the same album you have run down and seeking the delegates in that same album to come and vote for you to represent them again? There was no way he was going to do that.
So he decides
maybe out of political pride, he decided not to go again, rather go as an independent candidate. I've heard his aide say that the delegate list is only about 1,000. the majority of people in Ejisu, the electoral roll, there are about 70,000. And so only 1,000 people can decide for, 70,000 people. He's a former member of parliament. Obviously, he has support within the constituency.
And Ashanti region is not a stranger to independent MPs. Bekwai
has been there.
Fomina
is also there.
The current
second deputy of parliament.
Ejisu could bring an independent if he really believes that he has a base going for him. Because Ashanti region is generally an MPP area. But if you are someone who is even stronger than maybe the party, or your personality is that strong, like Joe Sewusu, you could win in Bekwai like he did, or like the Fomina MP did in his constituency. So if Ediomi really thinks that he is that good, then maybe he can test it, which is what he's planning to do. But the regional chairman of the NPP in Ashanti, Bernard Nchibosi, known as Chairman Wuntumi, has been responding to this decision of Ediomi to run independent in 2024.
Honorable, Ajay, Osei was the MP. Then he was a minister. Then you came to overthrow him. Then you also become deputy minister. Then John Kuma also came to overthrow you. So now why you don't want to follow the party? Is it NDC people who are pushing you?
So that's Chairman Wuntumi, almost dismissive. He doesn't think that there will be a huge impact. But I want us to hear from the person who is going to run independent, the Honorable former Deputy Minister for Roads and former MP for Ejisu. Let's hear from him too, his reasoning for going independent.
People who vote that has called for Ediomi. So I believe they will do exactly what they want to do for me, that I should be voted for, so that I go to Parliament and continue what I did for them years ago. NPP never did anything for me. If we are to assess what me and NPP we've done for each other, my brothers and sisters, I will tell you that I have done more for NPP in their pursuit for breaking the 8 than they have done for me. Yes. As NPP took me to school, I'm a civil engineer. Yes. I was a practicing civil engineer. And when I was in Parliament, my performance in Parliament and support I gave the Minister for Roads and Highways.
So that's the Ediomi. He would go independent. Yes. He said, and it's almost like he's throwing the party away. But that's also not a very good comment to be making, because you don't have to fight the party. Just project yourself. Because the way he's speaking is almost like, oh, the party can go to hell.
There are people who disagree with on this comment, because if he say that the NPP has not done anything for him, you were a member of parliament on the ticket of the party. You were appointed a deputy minister because you were a member of the party. Now, if you say the party hasn't done anything for you, those who agree with you say that you had this appointment as a deputy minister because you were a member of the party. You became a member of parliament because you are a member of the party. And so if he says that the party hasn't done anything for him, a lot of people would disagree with him on that. I heard Nanabi speak on radio that after this particular interview, and he said that he's one of the ungrateful individuals when it comes to the policies of the NPP. They ride on the back of the party, get all the success. But when they are defeated in primaries, because they are bitter, they go back speaking ill about the party, and this particular conversations should not be encouraged.
He says the party didn't send him to school and several other things. But you see, like you were saying, so the point is that you want NPP people to vote for you. Yeah. So don't attack their party. Yeah. They still love their party. So they may choose to vote for the presidential candidate NPP and vote for you, which is what they've done in Fomina and they've done in Bekwai. So when you come up and you are attacking the party, I don't know what his strategy is, but of course he's a politician. He's been MP before. For him to have dislodged Isaac, former Foreign Affairs Minister, who replaced Akufo-Addo as Foreign Affairs Minister, I think maybe he knows what he's doing. We can only wish him well. Now, usually, by-elections are test cases of the popularity of a government or otherwise. Often, the governing party would be campaigning to insist that it has done so well, so vote for us. That's when we see all the projects going there. The opposition party would say this is where they are going to prove that the government is unpopular. So it's almost like a midterm election of a sort. We expected that the NDC would go into this race to make a case like they did. There was a similar by-election in Ashanti region. Was it last year?
Yes, that was Kumewu.
Kumewu. Yeah. They went there and fought tooth and nail. Yeah. They didn't win. And then they went to Asin North. They went to win, and they made a point that, oh, They are doing well. They have shown that the government is unpopular. For this particular contest, the NDC has decided they will not run. Let's see Fifi Kwete, he's General Secretary of NDC. He has been explaining why the NDC is opting out of the primaries in Ejisu.
NDC will officially not be taking part in the Ejisu By-election. We've already set into motion processes leading to December 7, just a few months away. We want to continue those processes and ensure that come December 7, we are prepared to combat in all the constituencies, and Ejisu will be one of them. So for this particular by-election, NDC will not take part in it. We are very confident about the processes we have in place. We just want to make sure we have the time to implement them fully. And between now and December 7, we'll be in the position to make sure we are deploying everything we've got. So that really will be the way we want to go.
So that's Fifi Kwete, General Secretary of NDC. I mean, this brings up a number of things. One, there's a view or a school of thought that when a person who is a member of parliament dies, there should be no by-election. The party that the person was representing, that party should choose a replacement. There's that view. Yeah. Another view is that if it is an election year like this one, the Constitution currently gives, I think, 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
There's a view that if it's 1 year to time, let it go. Do not even occupy that seat. Do not replace the person. Or even if you would, there should be a way to do it without going through a by-election. The cost of by-elections is huge. Now we are going to have NPP go, because the law says there should be a by-election, there will be by-election. EC will print materials and all the campaigning would happen. At the end of the day, it's going to be a contest between NPP and NPP. Yeah. And NPP is going to win. I mean, despite the fact that I've seen CPP saying they'll contest, you don't give them a dog's chance. If they win, then it means that it's most likely, most likely that the CPP candidate is going to win the national election as president. So I think that at this point, maybe we should start considering this whole issue of by-elections. Even though this is used as a test case, maybe we should say that if it's an area that is not a stronghold of a party, then let's do it. Yeah. How do you determine that? You can see how many times which party has won in the past. If in the past 8 elections, NPP has won that seat hands down, what's the point of doing a by-election there? And you look at the numbers by which they won with. If NDC has won over the past 8 elections, why do you conduct an election there? So if NDC is not going in there, I don't think we should have an election. Another view I have on this is like NDC running with its tails between its legs for an election. If you look at the Daily Guide headline yesterday, it says NDC runs from Ejisu By-election. You don't want to be an opposition party that is running away from elections. You have said that you've set in motion processes into December 7 election, and yet you have a candidate in that constituency. Yeah. If you have chosen a candidate, you should test him. This is a good time to test him. And if he goes to the polls and he doesn't do well, then you can even say that, oh, Charlie, our candidate is not doing well, so let's possibly even change him. Unless NDC is saying that Ejisu is not a seat they ever hope to win. I don't think this is a good strategy for the NDC to say that we will not run. I heard some of their officers being interviewed, and the questions were asked. So if this was a Volta region seat, would you say that you have set motions for December 7th, so you're not going to vote? I don't think, as a largest opposition party, this is what they should do. Maybe they should have put their candidate there. It's a way of testing the policies of the government among MPP, hardcore MPP people. Because Ejisu is like a hardcore MPP place. Let NDC go and contest there. Voter turnout is going to be significant. You use voter turnout to check whether people are interested in voting in Ashanti. And it's going to help people like Musa Dankwa who do polling. So are people going to be excited to come out and vote? That's one. Two, what will be the gap by which the NPP candidate would win? We know that he will win. But what will be the gap that he will use to defeat this NDC candidate? We need to see that. And again, the people of Ejisu would get some development, you know, because the moment NDC goes in there, NPP will send things. But now that NDC is not there, the thing we saw in the other by-election, we will not see.
The development has started because as I speak to you, I'm reliably informed that the roads minister is in Ejisu now. As I say, is there.
And he's not far from that constituency,
yeah,
right?
He's Bantama, MP for Bantama. And as we speak, he's in Ejisu now. The leadership of the NPP are all there in Ejisu, you know, making 1 or 2 things.
More routes.
And so it's not surprising. But I'm not so surprised that NDC decided not to contest this particular. Because in the last election, John Kuma, who was a ticket on the NPP, had over 68,000 votes. The NDC candidate, Kwame something, had only 10,000 votes. Okay. In 2016, The DME guy who is now going independent had over 54,000. The NDC had only 8,000. And so when we look at the trajectory, if we look at the result for election, NDC feels that there's no way they will do well. They will not cross maybe the 10,000 mark. And so why waste resources? Because campaigning is about resources. And the Ghanaian voter has come to understand that give me money before I vote for you. So why would I want to waste money?
But right now you're an opposition party. Don't give money. Just go and campaign. Genuine campaign. Sure, we're sitting there and see what they will say.
I would say delegate voters will still demand for money, you know. So I'm not surprised NDC had decided not to contest.
Okay.
It's for their own good for the party. They may want to keep that resources for the December 7th election proper.
Let's move from the NDC. Let's talk about Kube. Do you like drinking Kube?
Of course.
You like drinking Kube?
Of course.
Imagine you drink Kube. No, before you drink Kube, you eat palm nut soup. And then you enjoy Kube on top. That is what we are getting from Dr. Hilal Liman. Dr. Hilal Liman's party has given birth to a new party called PMP, People's National Party. Their symbol is palm nuts, like Abenkwai. And the reason is that a certain Janet Nabla, who was a general secretary of the PNC, decided to lead a group of executives to break away and form the PMP. It leads to the destruction of the Nkrumah's front. There's always been an agenda to unite the Nkrumah's front. CPP, PNC, PPP, all those people should come together. But they keep rather redistributing themselves. And Sami, Janet Nabla is a tough woman, by all standards, listening to her. But it appears that the PNC there, Charlie, hope no day again.
Peace in that party ran away when Dr. Ibn Nasidi Mama was appointed by this administration. The very time he left this party, that's when peace also decided to live with him. Because after him, the party has never been straight. Bernard Mother became national chairman, a lot of disagreements here and there. Nabila became general secretary. Every day there's fights here and there. Moses Daniba became national chairman. Apasara became flag bearer. There was always confusion within the party. There's a session that will be doing a press conference. Police will go in there to go and sack the people. The police had to come and intervene again. Then I asked myself, even with this small political party with less than 100 voters across the country are fighting.
Please, it's not less than 100.
It's less than 100.
It's 100.
They should come and give us the record.
It's 117.
Yeah, oh, you've added 17 stories for them. Okay, well, including Benanmona.
Yes.
A small political party which holds no significant value in the politics of this country. I even advocate that the EC should decide to ban such political parties. You know, PNC,
no, Master.
CPP,
slow down.
The other political parties.
The 1992 Constitution
advocates
for party plurality.
Yes.
There should be multi-party system. What you are doing, in fact, there's a law, there's a provision in the Constitution that says Parliament shall not make any law that imposes a two-party state or a one-party state. So stop the thing you're doing.
We have come to a stage in our national politics.
And I'm saying that your stage, you will be in the Supreme Court. Okay.
We have come to a stage in our national politics when Ghana is run by two political parties. I don't see in my entire life, if God gives me a number of years I want to live on earth, to see a different party in the governance of this country aside NPP and NDC.
It can happen.
It will never happen.
Says who?
It will never happen.
It happened in France. It happened in Kenya.
Those are advanced.
It happened in Nigeria.
That's advanced. Nigeria was a combination of all other parties,
but they can
including major political parties. You come and form what we have now.
Did you see Alan Chemantin and Abu Sakara coming together to form the Great Alliance there?
And you think something good will come out of that?
You don't think so?
I'm not a doomsayer, but I wonder. In my years of politics or following politics in this country, I don't see any other political party.
You don't think that people may get fed up with the two parties?
No way.
My point is that the Electoral Commission, your position that they should be banned, now I'm saying take it out. In America, they are 200 years old. I'm sure we should have a constitutional review when that particular clause, because it's an entrenched clause. The oldest
it's only parliaments that can do that.
The oldest democracy, America, 200 years plus.
Yes.
They have Democrats, Republicans.
Definitely.
They have smaller parties.
Yes.
But
the smaller parties told the lives of these two political parties.
So allow this one.
It's the same thing we are having in this country.
Yes.
We've always had accusation that the leadership of PNC, some of them have affiliates to the NPP, some of them have affiliates to the NDC. So ban those parties, let those individuals go and support NPP and NDC.
Ban
simple.
No.
Waste of time. We are wasting our time here and there.
People come and demonstrate in front of your house. And what you are saying is actually an affront to the Constitution.
One, we cut down resources.
I have the right to have you arrested.
When the EC is printing ballot papers, they will print only 2. You know, there will be no more ink for the other ones that is down there. It gets to a time when you are even going to vote, you take the ballot paper, a tall list. Meanwhile, we know where the votes are going.
So there should be no independent candidate?
We know where the votes are. It's either NPP or NDC. These smaller political parties are just wasting our time, are wasting the resources of the EC, and are just wasting what were they getting?
Precious time.
Precious time for everybody. Oh.
You know, GBC is obligated to give them airtime, fair coverage. They need graphics is supposed to give them, so
they have no choice.
All of them have to put them. But before this turmoil and before Janet Nabla, there was something to bigger. Have you heard that name?
I remember
something to bigger. And before something to bigger, there was John Akparibo Ndebugri. All of them in PNC. Hey, Charlie. Dr. Hilary Man, your party, come back and watch.
That's why I've said that immediately Dr. Nasigri Mahama left the party, peace left with him the party.
Peace FM. This is Citi Newsroom, Citiuation Room. What am I even saying? On Citi TV, Sami has confused me with the attack on the Constitution. When we come back, there are two things we have to look at for you. Musa Dankwa was here with us 2 weeks ago. He had done some polling. We looked at the national issues, what people were saying about them. There are also the political angles to his work. We're going to dissect that in a bit. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. This is Citiuation Room on Citi TV. I'm here with Sami Wiafi. My name is Umaru Sandamadu. We've just dragged onto the set Musa Dankwa. He's with Global Info Analytics. He's been doing a lot of work in our election space. He started for some years now. We don't do a lot of polling in Ghana, so it's good that we see this polling happening. And so far, he's been on point on a number of scores that he has presented so far. 2 weeks ago, he was on the show to share with us some insights he picked from voters based on questions that he has put to them. Today, he's back to share with us other insights that he's gathered based on some new questions and issues that he has put forth before the voters. Musa, Barka de Salah.
Barka Kade.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Everything fine?
We are surviving by His grace.
We shall be well, inshallah. Now that the Ramadan is over, there's more energy. We will see.
There's more energy.
We are not happy it's gone by, it's gone. We'll do something. Have you done your Sita Shawwal?
Not yet.
Oh, you should do it. You should do it before the moon ends.
I'll do that, inshallah.
Don't ask me if I've done mine.
No, I won't ask you.
Musa, just a quick summary. Last 2 weeks, we were focused on national policies. Free SHS. The key takeaways last week before we go to this week.
The key takeaways were that over 67% of voters said that they have benefited from the free education policy of the government. At the same time, 61% said that they have had financial relief
from free SHS.
From free SHS.
Okay.
And then 67% still want the system to be reviewed. They want a review of the policy. Even though they've enjoyed it, they think somebody's not right. It has to be reviewed.
What feedback have you been getting from your polls since you put them out?
Have
you been bashed? Have you been...
No, that is normal. Yes, we've been bashed by several group of people who probably are not happy.
Celebrated too?
Others are celebrating. But for us, what makes it, what keeps us going is when we have independent organizations kind of using our work to inform the But NPP and NDC, they always fight. It doesn't matter what. So we don't use them as a measure. But they are stakeholders, all right. But we look at those who are very independent in the use of the data, and we think we are quite happy with the way it's been received. Yes.
So today we are focusing on elections. Talk to us about what you've been doing.
The questions that we asked voters was broken down into governance and then also the politics. So today we're going to look at the voting intentions of people we spoke to, and then also a different angle to look at why the poll numbers are looking the way they look right now.
Was it the same sample you used as the last?
Yeah, the same sample, same sample, just from the same questions that we are kind of going to the next phase of the report.
Let's see what you have.
So basically, I want us to look at the party affiliation of the respondents. What you will see is January respondents who said they were MPP, and April who said they were NDC, and so on and so forth. So you can see that in January, MPP was 34% of the respondents. NDC, 34%, equal measure. And then floating, 19%, others 3%, undisclosed 10%. But in April, MPP drops from 34 to 30% among those who openly say they are MPP. NDC largely remained the same, 34 point something, so barely changed. Then the floating voters went down by 1%. But then look at those who said undisclosed. gone up by what? 5%, an increase.
And those are generally establishment people who don't want to disclose.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, there's a link between them and MPP. When MPP goes down, they go up. So you can safely conclude that they are largely MPP members who are hiding in that column. Mm-hmm. And then we looked at what we call the first-time voters. Now, among those who have never voted before, the first-time voters, 26% of them are self-identifying as floating voters. They don't want to have anything to do with MPP or NDC or any of the smaller parties.
26?
Yes.
That's more than the two parties.
Yes, yes. So, and then 25% are NDC, 22 are MPP, and 23 said they will not disclose. Now, if this trend continues over election cycles, we would come to a point where the floating voters could outnumber the MPP and NDC.
Which is good for those who don't think we should have multi-party...
Those duopoly...
Yeah, duopolies.
It could help break that kind of jinx.
So Alan Chemantin should be smiling, Cheddar should be smiling, and all those other people who...
But then if you look at the older voters, there you have 31% MPP, 33 NDC, 18% floating voters, and 17% not disclosed. So you can see that in the older voters, the floating voters are smaller.
So older people are stuck in their old ways and their
MPP,
old political
NDC.
parties.
Yes.
The young generation
are much more...
They don't give a...
No, don't give it they are moving wherever they want to move as floating voters, which is a good thing. Now, if you look at the 3 months moving average, this average is really important because it tells you which party is gaining popularity or getting more attractive and which party is declining in terms of branding. Now, MPP and NDC were almost stuck at 34%. This time around, you see MPP goes down, NDC goes up. Now, this average will be repeated in July to see whether the trend is continuing, to see what is happening in the ground. And it's very important. And as you see, those who said they will not disclose, they are moving in the same direction as opposite direction as MPP curve.
So floating and undisclosed, that's where the magic is.
Yes, yes.
But Musa, so the floating and undisclosed, if you want to explain the difference of the two, what would the explanation be? Floating
is saying that I don't belong to NDC, I don't belong to MPP, I don't belong to PNC, none of them. I look at issues and vote. Okay. The undisclosed, they say they know where they belong.
But they don't want to disclose it.
I won't tell you. Okay. I won't tell you. Right. So in the unweighted poll, when we spoke to voters, who would you want to vote for? And this, we must remember, we did not show them these pictures. We did not give them names. We just asked them the question. And they told us what we call by not prompting them. So unprompted recall. You tell us the name.
So clearly, hello, you pick up.
This was in the field. Okay. Face to face.
Oh, you meet the person.
This is face to face.
Who will you vote for? Simple. They won't say who will you choose among these.
No, we didn't do that.
Who will you vote for?
Who would you vote for?
You rack your brain and bring up a name.
Yes.
Okay.
So if the name that you mentioned to us is not one of these people, there is someone else.
Then you put it as other.
Someone else.
But you don't have someone else, do you?
We have, this model is what we call the likely voter, people who have mentioned names that we are showing here.
So the people mention names to you, and you use it to plot this graph?
Yes, yes.
And what is it showing?
It shows that John Mahama on 54.3%, Baumia on 34.6%, Alan 7.5%, Nana Kwambediaku 2.3%, Osofo Chirabosum 0.7%, Hassan Ayariga 0.3%, Akpalu 0.2%, Chum Berima 0.1%, Apia Dankwa 0.1%, and Sam Ankra 0.0 something, just barely nothing.
They mentioned Sami Apia Dankwa?
Yes. So whoever you see with numbers here, it means his name was mentioned.
And this is random, they just...
Yes.
Interesting.
This is more natural and true and sincere than them being shown pictures. Because when they see somebody's face, they can just say this one.
Chirabosom is making... He was our third
third last time in the last election.
In the last election, and it's still there in the showing.
It appears that Kwame would probably
would overtake him.
Overtake him, yes.
And Musa, these are people who are generally youth. The people you interviewed are
all age blocks, from 18 to and above.
And they identify as NDC and NPP.
No, you will see how many of them say they are NDC, as we showed you earlier.
Okay, yes.
How many are NDC, how many are MPP? Remember, NDC was 34%, MPP 30%.
Okay. Let's continue.
If automatically the person says, I'll vote for John Mahama, does it not translate that he's NDC?
No.
Or he says, I'll vote for Bawumia?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Not at all. Not at all. That's why we don't ask them which party are you voting for in the election.
Okay.
Because some people, they hate the word NDC, but he wants to vote for Mahama.
Okay.
So you have to be very careful the way
you
frame the question.
So you're looking at personalities, the strength of the personalities.
Rather than the party names or symbols.
All right.
This your okay. Now what we did was to ask these same people we spoke to, who told us how they're going to vote for, about how they voted in 2020 elections, to see among the same people that we are talking to, what is the movement among those who voted in 2020. And among those those that said they voted, 53.8% said it was for Nanado.
So you met the guy. You said, who will you vote for? He said John Mahama. Then he said, 2020, who did you vote for?
In fact, there were about 41 questions. Among the questions...
No, I'm just saying that, yes, so there's a question.
Yes.
Who will you vote for? He said JM. Who did you vote for in 2020?
Yes.
Then he said Akufo-Addo, or he said JM.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what you're
That's what we're doing now.
Okay.
So among those who said they voted, the poll shows that 53.8 went for Nanado, 44.6 went for Mahama, and 1.6 said other candidates. Now, if you apply the margin of error for the survey, which is 1.6%, if you deduct 1.6 from 53.8, you're getting closer to what Nanado got in the election. If you add the 1.6 to 44.6, getting close to what Mahama got in the election, which means that these guys were speaking the truth.
Okay. The statistics is correct.
Yes, it's correct. Then, what did we do? We went to look at the regional blocks. We decided to understand data in a way that would enable us to see what's really happening in the race. So we put all the Akan regions together, where MPP does well, together, to see how they were voting, or their voting intention. And in that scenario, when you look at Ahafo, Bono East, Ashanti region, Eastern region, Western North, and Central region, these are the Akan regions, mostly Akan regions. These are the numbers that come from that region.
Bawumia is in the lead.
44.4%. Mahama 41.1%. Alan 9.6%. Kwame Bediako 3.1%.
He has climbed up.
Yes. Gum 1.1%.
Also climbed up.
So Gum, these guys are doing well in the Akan regions.
Which is a threat to Bawumia.
Absolutely. Now, should he be on the 44.4%? Naturally. Let's see what Nanado did in 2020. In the same regions, when the votes are tabulated, or the people responsible were tabulated, Nanado was on 66.2%.
Comfortable.
In the same account dominated.
Yes, from the same people we spoke to. So the same people who are doing 44.4, they did 62.2 last time for MPP's candidate. And they did 31.5 for Mahama in 2020. They are now 41.something%. Mahama is up almost 10% in the Akan regions compared to this. And then Bawumia is down almost 20-something%.
So Mahama is more comfortable in Akan regions now
than
he was against Akufo-Addo?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go for it.
Then if you look at the swing regions.
And which are these regions?
The swing regions are the Greater Accra, Central, and Western region. Very, very critical regions. You must win these regions, either two of them,
to win the election.
To win the elections. Now, currently, 65.6% intend to vote for Mahama if the elections were held today.
In these 3 regions?
Yes.
Okay.
28.1% would do Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. 4.8% would do Alan Chiramatin, and 1.2% Nana Kwame Bediako. In these regions, currently. Let's look at how they voted in 2020 elections. In that election, Nanado 47.5 among those who voted in 2020 from the sample we picked. This is how they voted.
So this is not the Electoral Commission results for 2020?
No, this is not the Electoral Commission results.
So these are the same people you were asking?
Yes, and this is how they voted before. So that you can see how the movement is, what kind of movement you are seeing in the numbers. Mahama was on 51.9% in the swing regions in 2020. What are we seeing now? Mahama is now 65.6, Bawumia 28.1, 4.8, 1.2.
But if Mahama won the swing regions in 2020 from these people, yet he lost the national election.
We are saying that this is not easy result. We just said.
Okay, so this is just the
this sample. Is the sample. Okay. So if you expand this result, what does it mean nationally? Okay. That's what the angle we want.
That's what you're looking at it from.
Yes. So you can see that Bawumia has dropped compared to where Nado should have been.
Okay.
And Mahama has gone up compared to where he was before. And these guys didn't exist. Now they are existing.
It's there.
Now, if you look at the northern regions, quite intriguing figure from northern region. Mahama on 6.9 northern regions.
So these are all the regions of the north?
All the northern sector.
East, upper west.
Yes, all the regions. And that's what somebody got it wrong and he said I messed up. But this is all the northern regions. So Savannah, upper west, upper east, northern region, northeast, put together as a block. 5. Mahama is now on 66.9%. Bawumia 27.8%, Alan 4%, Kwame Bediako 0.9%, and the rest. This is their voting intention now. Let's look at their voting intention in the last election. Pay attention to John Mahama's numbers. Last election, 64%. So he's marginally gone up in the north.
In the north.
Compared to the...
So from 64 to what? 66.
66. About 2% or 3%.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Bawumia has gone up 28% compared to 35.5 for Nanado. So Bawumia has declined. And his decline went to who? Some went to Mahama and some went to Alan Chiramatin and the guys.
I see. Let's pause on Northern Region. This is Citiuation Room on Citi TV. Musa Dankwa is with the Global Info Analytics. He's done some work that he's sharing with us. We'll come back and continue with what else he found. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. This is the Citiuation Room on Citi TV. My name is Sami Wiafi here.
My name is Sami Wiafi. My name is Umar Hussein.
I'm sorry for stealing your name.
My name is Umar Hussein Damadu.
Apologies, yes. So I'm Umar Hussein. He's Sami Wiafi. He's from Kwewu. I'm from Greater Accra. Don't mind him. Musa Dankwa is also from Kwewu land. Achim land, sorry. He's joined us in studio. We are doing an analysis of what he found when he went to town with his institution to ask people the questions relating to our national elections. So far, we are looking at the trend in all the regions. We've done Northern Region. Which region are we going to, Musa?
Northern regions.
We've done this. Okay. 5. So the 5 regions of the north.
We're not doing voter put together.
Okay.
Very also similar and intriguing result.
John That's Mahama, an NDC zone.
NDC zone. Strong NDC stronghold. Mahama 67.3. Bawumia 19.6. Alan 8.6. Bediako 2.3. Goom 0.9. And the rest follow. That is what they intend to do now.
What are you comparing? Did you compare this to the 2020?
2020. Mahama 67.6 barely changed in the stronghold. He has not moved at all.
But the 30 point for Akufo-Addo is significant.
Significant. And where has it gone to? If Mahama hasn't changed, the drop in MPP's numbers in voter region has gone to Alan and Nana Kwame Bediako.
Okay. So Mahama is fine in his base.
Yes.
Bawumia has to do extra work.
Remember, in the northern regions, he only went up by 3%. In the voter region, OT, barely unchanged. So his performance at the moment in the race is coming from the Akan regions.
All right. Okay. Volta and OT region.
Yes.
Let's look at the other regions.
Now, we want to take a critical look at the regional analysis of the same numbers. Let's look at Ashanti region. Okay. In Ashanti region, uniquely, in 2020, Nano got 76% from the people we spoke to. 22
for John Mahama.
For John Mahama. 2% someone else. Currently, how are they intending to vote in 2024? 31% said Mahama now, in the Ashanti region. 54%, Bawumia. 12%, Alan Sermatin. 2%, Nana Kwambediako.
So NPP doing well in Ashanti as expected, but not as well as it...
They are not doing well at all because they should be hitting 70.
This is a 20, is that 20% drop? Or?
Yes.
So Musa, if Nanado did 76%, the expectation was that Bawumia should go higher.
No, because we don't expect him to do
at least maintain the same level.
Yes, but dropping
Alan, is the problem.
Because of Alan in the race and Nankwan Bediako in the race in the region. So the numbers that Alan Bawumia has lost, some went to Mahama and some went to Alan and Kwan Bediako.
So from the trend, it looks like Alan is getting the numbers. So he becomes or he poses as a threat to Dr. Bawumia in any way, as well as Nana Kwame Bediako.
Yes, exactly. That is the point. That is why Bawumia is not able to cross the 40% in the national opinion poll.
Because of Alan and Nana Kwame Bediako.
Absolutely.
16%, that's what they are sharing there.
Now, let's look at other regions that are critical, where NPP should be doing well. Let's say Eastern region. I want to get to Central region.
Central, swing seats. Swing region.
Mahama did 46 in the last election. Nano did 54 in the last election. Now look at it. Mahama 51. Bawumia 45. It's a swap. It's a swing.
But Alan's showing in Central is poor.
He collapsed in April. He was around 15% in January. He lost the numbers to Bawumia.
But this would be a worry because he's always said that he's from that region one way or the other. So it was expected he would do a proper showing there.
Eastern region. Interesting. Nado 76% in 2020 elections. Mahama 23%. Currently, Mahama 31 up in Eastern region. Bawumia down to 49%. It's a huge drop. So Alan has come in with 11%. Kwan Bediako 5% in Eastern region.
So this is similar to Ashanti?
Very similar to Ashanti region.
And that's a stronghold of
the NPP.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now let's look at Western region. Towards the end is quite interesting for the Western region. Western region. That is where it's really bad. Nanado was on 57% in the last election. Mahama 40%, according to the respondents we spoke to. Now, Mahama is on what? 63%. Bawumia 25%.
So Mahama 23% increase.
Yes.
And Dr. Bawumia reduces by
almost half.
By half. Yeah. More than half of what Bawumia and Nana got. And Alan is a problem 9%. There again.
And this is supposed to be a swing region.
Swing region. And it's not swinging at the moment.
It's dominated by one person.
One person. Now, look at Western North.
Western North has the same characteristics as Western.
Nanado, among those we spoke to, 66%. Mahama 34%. Now Mahama 50%. Bawumia 41%. Alan 6%. A complete reversal of fortunes among the same people who voted this way last time. Now, let me try and quickly end in Greater Accra.
That's Greater Accra.
Greater Accra. This is where the tsunami really will hit. In the last election, Nado 45%, Mahama 55%. the last election. Mahama won that region last time. Now, Mahama 73% in Greater Accra.
In Greater Accra?
In Greater Accra.
That's big.
That's big. Bawumia 21%, Alan 5%, 1% Nana Kwambidiako. You know why this is like that in Greater Accra?
No.
About 20% of MPP voters in Greater Accra are voting Mahama.
How? Musa, that doesn't sound realistic.
MPP, JM, Greater Accra, 19.5%. Only 63.9% of MPP are doing Bawumia. 7% are doing Alan. About 3 are doing Nanakwam Bediako. 7.6 said they will not vote.
But if MPP people would go into an election, they would rather not vote than to vote for John Mahama. Yes. So that question, how do you answer?
But there is, at the moment, about 9% of MPP voters nationally who are voting Mahama.
Because in election cycles, we know that there's always apathy when it comes to the incumbent party or the incumbent government. So its supporters may choose to stay away from even voting for the opposition.
But to vote for the other person.
But it's a different one.
The problem here is that about 9% are voting for Mahama.
John Mahama.
And then you have quite a big number saying they will not vote. If you look at people who say they will not vote, 23% of all I will not vote people are from Ashanti region. 23% or 22 are in Greater Accra. 14 Western region. That's why the Western region numbers are lopsided for Mahama, because the MPP guys have refused to come to vote. And if you don't come to vote and your enemy, your other person come, you'll be down huge numbers.
Well, I'm just looking at how to convince people that the NPP voters, typical NPP voters, will vote for Mahama. That would be a difficult sell.
No.
If you say
Umaru,
they abstain, that will make sense.
Umaru, there are NDC guys who are voting for Bawumia. What about that? Yes.
Okay, we have
just that number is 3%.
It's not huge.
3%.
Okay.
But those MPP doing Mahama is 9%. So Mahama has +6 advantage over MPP cross-carpeting.
Let's wrap up and conclude. The takeaways are that Bawumia needs to work hard in Ashanti and in eastern regions. And because John Mahama appears to be doing very well, and he's not doing as well as Nana Akufo-Addo did.
Yes.
That's a key takeaway in the MPP strongholds.
Yes.
Mahama has maintained his stronghold of Volta and Oti, and
no
he's
change.
Doing very well there. Bawumia is still struggling there.
Yes.
The third point is that the swing regions appear to be tipping towards
They've
Mahama.
swung heavily towards Mahama.
To Mahama. So again, Dr. Bawumia has to do a lot of work there. Greater Accra region, which is one of the key deciders, is going Mahama as he did the last time.
Yes.
But now that it is joined by Central and Western, Dr. Bawumia needs to do a lot of work there, correct?
His work is really in the Greater Accra and Western regions.
Okay. In the north, where they both come from, Mahama is doing well.
Just 3% higher than he did last time, so not huge difference.
So he's maintaining his...
Yes.
But Bawumia, again, still struggling behind him.
Yes.
However, Alan is a guy that Bawumia should watch.
Yes.
And
Bediako.
That's it. Have I summarized what has happened today?
Absolutely perfect.
We need to wrap up. Thank you so much, Musa Dankwa, for joining us. Musa Dankwa with Global Info Analytics. We'll be back next week. My name is Umaru Sandamado. I did it with Sami Wiafi. This is Citi TV. Keep watching. It's your world.